Huh? So languages are important. Exposes you to different cultures. Like when we did Chinese, we did cookout sessions with our professors. And experience food in a different way. All right, what is a comprehensive plan? Any idea what a comprehensive plan could be?
What the project looks like start to finish?
No. Good idea, but no. We are talking about governmental functions and zoning rights. What is a comprehensive plan?
So like all steps you have to take to zones or rezone something?
Getting there. What do you think is inside the comprehensive plan? Well, yeah, because it's comprehensive. Yeah. Duh. Wait, duh. Period point, not. Explanation mark. No? Funny. Come on. You ever heard that? Right. Zoning may only be undertaken in accordance with a comprehensive plan. This is not completely true. That is not necessarily because there is no specific requirement that constitutes a comprehensive plan or that the authority formally has to adopt a comprehensive plan. Yeah? Let's go the whole page. So, in layman's words, like you would explain it to a classmate, a comprehensive plan is the manifesto of a community or government, how they envision to develop and grow in the next 15 to 20 years. Yeah? How they envision to develop and grow as a community. In a perfect world, the comprehensive plan is done through a complete public participation process. The book is talking about public participation of stakeholders like charrettes, workshops, brainstorming sessions, all that. That feeds into a comprehensive plan. Comprehensive plan, depending on the state, is not necessarily mandatory. However, certain funding sources are based on comprehensive plan. If you want to have federal transportation monies, you better have a comprehensive plan that shows the next 15 to 20 years how you would like to develop infrastructure, grow as a community. Depends on the communities. Not every community is writing services in their comprehensive plan. Usually it starts out with a vision, then the status quo. In the last 10 years, we developed like this, grew by 20%, annexed in some protected parklands, all that. Write a story, draw a picture of your community. Yeah? Then you say, well, we did an update of our comprehensive plan. This is how the update process worked. We had the following public hearings, and this is the attendance, these are the outcomes. Yeah? You document all of that. So, it also is rather vague. We want to be a vibrant, livable community. Translation comes on the next 40 pages. Huh? Again, comprehensive plan can lay out the form, the structure, the culture, the identity. Remember when I talked about places? It's more like in the other class. Felt value, culture, and identity. Like Chinatown, Little India. Huh? Those are stereotyping ethnic group quarters, but they actually have a specific flair. If you're in San Francisco, in Chinatown, those buildings will look different than, let's say, South Beach. Huh? Different. So, they can be really vague because it's the vision of the community. This is what we like to do. Yeah? If I ask you, hey, when you turn 30, what do you want to be when you're 30? And you're like, oh my God, I'm just turned 21. How would I know I'm 30? I have a friend who graduated last year. And after graduation, I'll ask her, okay, so fine, you're 25 now, master's degree. What's the 5-year plan for you? You're an accountant. No idea. Huh? Now I'm talking to you guys here. What do you think, what are you going to do in 5 years? Where are you going to be in life, education, life, physical place? Yeah? You might go back to the West Coast, back to California. You might end up in Sweden, you don't know. Huh? You might just say, I'm done with Sweden, I end up in Ecuador because I met the other guy. Huh? So, sorry, didn't want to invade personal ideas. But think about this. Have you thought about what you're going to do after college?
Yeah.
Have you thought about college graduation +5?
Yeah. Texas.
If you write this down, you'll start doing your own comprehensive plan. Huh? I was once asked, hey, when you're at that age, what do you want to do? Or like, oh, university professor or stereotype, home, white picket fence, 2 kids, married. I missed that university professor by 8 months. So actually by 6 weeks, depending how you count age-wise. 6 weeks after I turned older, had my placement. Yeah? But comprehensive plan. I didn't have a plan to go to the US, being of personal experience. It was a random phone call on Monday morning. Tuesday afternoon, I agreed. Huh? 6 weeks later, packed up everything. 8 weeks. Huh? Craziness. Craziest thing in my life, moved to a different continent. 10 months, come for 10 months, get a full master's degree. Just finished 15 years. Rewrote my comprehensive plan for a few times. Huh? But okay, no requirement for a specific document called comprehensive plan. If this would be a planning studio class, I ask you to write your manifest. Huh? Not like the Karl Marx manifest, but my personal manifesto. What do I want to do in 5 years? Just for the fun of it, do it. You will realize if you do this every other birthday, it's interesting. Reflect what you've done. And if you turn 25 or 30, then add 10 years. Change the horizon. Huh? If you do personal note, if you do think, you guys might be too early for that, if you think about kids, that's a capital improvement project for 20 years.
At least.
Literally. Education, college funding, kindergarten, school, high school, football games, and college graduation.
Football games.
Huh? 20 years. Boom. Same thing with a library or a kindergarten in a small town. You got to do capital improvement projects. If my population, remember we did the demographics, if my population keeps aging and aging and aging and aging, and I have a population that doesn't produce kids, make this here a little bit more production class, huh? 0 kids, why do I need a kindergarten then? For the 2 kids in town, I'm not going to put public funds up for kindergarten. I might just ask them to get paid in the local daycare and cover that with a voucher. Huh? So think about that. This is not too crazy to say, hey, I want to have a comprehensive plan or a vision or a manifest of things that will come and develop. Good comprehensive plans nowadays are including actually utilities and services. Why not to put an emergency management plan in your comprehensive plan? As my city grows, my emergency management services need to grow as well. Huh? Wildfire protection in the mountains. Seawater, here. Flooding. Why not improve it? Policing. Why not? Capital improvement project, if your city is growing and growing, growing, at some point you need a second police station. Put it in on the plan for 15 to 20 years. Same thing, you're like, oh, placeholder for 15 years. Every class you write exams, every class you write essays, and you're not done yet with that one picture for the essay, yeah, or table. You do what? Put some space in and say, here's going to be a table about my demographics. And you move on, you write it. Yeah? Or you prepare all the tables, and then you write. Different workflows. Comprehensive plans are the same thing. Have the leap and the faith to put placeholders in. Why? In 20 years, if there's no space and you need additional arterial road for your infrastructure, what are you going to do? Bulldoze down the single-family homes? No. You just kept that space open the last 20 years. And planning gods forbid that someone touches your comprehensive plan and makes changes. and boom, you're in the same trouble. Also means that you might have to defend for the next 20 years why are you not doing premium residential development on these spaces. Which is interesting. The book talks very briefly about urban growth boundaries. Urban growth boundaries is a tool really great for development. Portland is a famous example for that. They literally said, here, this is the line we stop building. We're not going to annex anymore. We're not going to grow as a physical city in land. We stop. Microeconomics. Everyone in finance and business major now would have to get goosebumps and shake their head. Why? What does an urban growth boundary create? Any idea? Mr. Alex in the last row. Any idea? No, you're not a finance major. No. Finance majors. Sorry. What does an urban growth boundary create?
A limit.
A limit. What is a limit? Or what will get caused through that limit?
Taxes?
Land value goes up. Why? Because you make it more complicated and complex to develop land, therefore you create an artificial land market. Because you're saying, oh, we are not going to get more development done in existing city limits. We're not going to expand city limits. Creates artificial or criticism of artificial land markets. Also interesting to see that the municipality outside of that growth boundary says, hey, cool, come to me, pay my property taxes. It's half an hour commute down to Portland. Don't have to live in Portland to have Portland flair. So very interesting, intriguing concept of urban growth boundaries and how in real estate they are actually creating artificial land markets. We're going to see this soon here too, already seeing it. Developers are telling you already certain type of development are not available anymore in Miami-Dade County or in Broward County because of the size of the land. Good luck in finding industrial warehousing space larger than 20 acres. Doesn't exist really, or it's unbelievably expensive to get. So that is an example of that we're getting tied up to the limit to the capacity, and then therefore it's changing pricing. All right. Comprehensive plan is a vision-based statement of a municipality or community, how they want to grow in a time frame typically 15 to 20 years. That's the easiest definition you can do. And then they usually update between 5 and 10 years based on growth and circumstances. Doesn't have to be a comprehensive, all of the above document. But it's some of the statement here in 15 years, we would like to be that type of community, that kind of development. Again, do your own personal comprehensive plan, your own personal manifest and say, hey, in 5 years, where am I? This is the baby steps. But the book even talks about the different processes and steps in comprehensive plans and in the zoning process. I just want to point it out. I actually pointed out really strongly that you have the concept phase, the pre-application phase. Concept phase is like we did with the 4 stages of development. Plays with the idea, evaluate feasibility is like identify sites. That's step 1 and 2. That's stage 3. That is coming back to 2, pretty much. Then developer and the public staff are talking. That's the reason why I point this out so extremely here. It's a communication process. You need to understand government and talk government. Vice versa. Smart land use lawyer will tell you, you're not going to pay for my legal information. Land use lawyer will tell you, you're paying for me because I'm able to translate government into developer and back and forth. What does this mean? You read the zoning code, you're like, that's like 10 commandments. Shall not, shall not, shall not. They're really funny written. Land use lawyer reads that, translates that to you, so you as a developer understands that. Huh? Again, public step goes more and more. You can see how this goes through the application phase in different steps and what kind of processes they're actually doing. Yeah? Prepares final plans, prepares final plan report, and recommendations to public officials. As an example, you will always have on a zoning hearing, you always have the recommendation of staff at the end. As in, this is the application package. We formally reviewed this package. We found no mistakes. Staff recommends the following. Could be as simple as no objections. We recommend approval. Or 10, 15 pages this paper on how to reject it. That's bad planning. That's bad communication. Yeah? You as real estate developers and property managers, again, depending where you end up in that process, you need to understand the planners. They want to have a specific way to deal with things. You have a specific way to deal with things. It's mingle and talk. Yeah? A perfect planning and zoning meeting is 10, 15 minutes, and you just approved 8 acres of subdivision. Why? Because the developer came in multiple times, sat down with the land use planners, sat down with staff, talked about the development, made literally some PR. Gotta butter this up. Not schmooze, but butter this up in a way of, I make this interesting. You recognize, oh, this is your development, and not send your lawyer or your engineer. Remember, we heard last week, James Donnelly. What was the one really cool feature he pointed out what he's doing? Well, among all the crazy stuff and the fun stuff he's doing, but when it comes to new client acquisition, what did he mention about that? He is part of it. He's not just sending one of you guys and saying, here, make the deal with 100 apartments. Huh? He's part of it. He sits at the table, or says hello at least. He's part of that. Makes a different bonding with your consumer relationship. Yeah? So all of this is not just drop a binder and show up 6 weeks later. That's the relationship you have to build. That's the reason why successful developers, particularly smaller firms, are sticking to specific areas, small towns, 1 or 2 towns. You know? I have a board member who is developing in Pembroke Pines. Not that he doesn't like Davie or Fort Lauderdale. He is developing in Pembroke Pines because the city was good to him. He likes the city. They like him. He's doing good product. He is sold out before even he thinks his timelines are. We visited him on a construction site. 100% sold out. 50% of the units not even yet in the ground. Because of the reputation of that kind of boutique niche townhome development. Really great. Started now a new project that goes into single family homes. Different city, different framework to deal with. Different comprehensive plan that dictates different application processes. Completely different animal. So don't get overly excited, but communicate with those people. Same thing here, public decision phase. Bunch of hearings, recommendation, public hearings, decision phase, etc. It's a really intriguing process. I do encourage you guys, take a look at the City of Davie, Town of Davie public hearing schedule. If you can make that happen for between classes, doesn't have to be next week, because they're not every week. But if the class schedule allows it at some time, swing by, attend. You don't necessarily have to understand all of what they are talking about, but it's a very interesting observation. What are people wearing? How they talk to each other? How they treat each other? Is this like a family thing going on, or is it a completely ice cold scenario? Yeah, could be a fight, a boxing fight about building deck permit, yeah, so you're allowed to put a deck on a barbecue out, you know, versus remodeling a whole house. Can vary a lot. Could be you could be lucky and someone puts a subdivision in place with 300 apartments. Like, wow, jackpot. Take advantage of these kind of processes. Comprehensive plan. By the way, those are the links. Let's see if we have the time to go back. David Florida government, check those out, really cool stuff. Comprehensive plans, by the way. When you go up for a job interview, make sure that you understand the company you're applying for. You know? The philosophy and the vision of that company. As in, you're applying for internship with the Castle Group, you better know who are the big names in Castle Group and what's the philosophy of Castle Group. Just in case you run into one of them and you have a conversation. Fun fact story, comprehensive plan. Old roommate of mine, MPA guy, Master of Public Administration, applied for a planning position. You know, saying, hey, pub admin, planning, yeah, similar, but not really. He got the job. He's still in that job, decades. And one of the reasons why he got that job is because he was the one who read the comprehensive plan for that town. Like the Tuesday evening, I have a job interview in 2 days, what do I need to do? I'm like, read the comprehensive plan. Have an understanding how this community wants to grow. Yeah? How they want to develop, what they don't like, how they want to protect, let's say, the farmland. And they did this interesting thing, we come back to that, with purchasing development rights versus transfer development rights. It's part of the book, part of the lecture today. Yeah? TDR and PDR and TDRs. Yeah? Different interesting concept, as in you own property, you want to preserve the land, like the meadows and the grass. You're going to sell your dwelling units, your density, to Paul. And Paul suddenly, instead of 3 single-family homes, can put 12 apartments up. Huh? And he's like, oh, cash flow, recurring revenue. Huh? Different ideas. All right, so, again, comprehensive plan, a vision statement, and the future of a community written by the community. Comprehensive plans that have been written by a consultant are GRAP. That's planning term for GRAP. Huh? Innovative land use controls. Any idea? What does the book say? What kind of innovative planning controls or land use controls have you heard so far? Any idea? Any idea? Trying to motivate you guys as waking up. Just name 2. Purchase, PDR, purchase development rights, transfer development rights. What else did we have? What's a planned unit development? You ever heard that? Planned unit development, a PUD. This is the section where I already throw acronyms at you. All right, let's start that. Zoning innovations, overlay zones. We are currently in an overlay zone. Overlay zone is called airport approach. Yeah? Noise overlay zones. The reason why the city, Dania Beach or Dania got new windows in certain neighborhoods is because of noise. Yeah? Because they literally put this on a map and said, okay, in that noise level, we need to change the windows for those customers. Yeah? It's an in addition to. Noise, historic districts is famous in terms of overlays, yeah? Economic development zones. One thing to remember is if I have a land use category defined by the zoning, it's parcel based. A zoning overlay can be regional based, can be block neighborhood level. Yeah? If I do figure out I do a historic preservation district, It can be half of downtown. Doesn't have to be all of it. Huh? Source water protection area, coastal soil management area, airport, noise protection. All these are overlays. The airport has an interesting overlay as well. It gives us a building height restriction based to federal law done by the FAA. Yeah? So a certain maximum heights I'm allowed to build in downtown Fort Lauderdale if I'm in abroad or not. Same thing here in Davie. City of Davie initiates that probably as well with their own zoning code, but the building height is then also stated with the federal rule. Huh? Floating zones. Yeah, yes.
So in like the Fort Lauderdale skyline, is there a limit to how high a building can go up to? How many floors specifically? Or is it just what developers are willing to create?
FAA has a rule on that.
Okay.
The tallest building I know is 43 plus extension.
Doesn't it depend on air rights too, though?
Yeah,
Some
we come
properties
back to
might
that.
have certain air rights.
But it's in the zoning code of the city of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, because I know Miami has ones that are 50.
Yeah. But you also have to remember one thing. At some point, it gets more and more expensive to build that high because you actually have to do the foundation.
Well, yeah, no, I just didn't know if there was an actual limit. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
cost associations with it.
Yeah, there's building height restrictions,
Okay.
definitely. I just don't know exactly how many feet or how many floors
Okay.
that are expressed in the floors. Building height restriction exists. Yeah? Even here, College Avenue as an example, it's regional activity center. Yeah? Building height restriction is 6 floors with setbacks on our starting floor. So built to the lot line, 4 floors, and then 5 and 6 need to be setbacks like you see with penthouses.
So in college, the new building that we have, it's 7 floors though, isn't it?
No.
It's only 6.
We have a new building in college.
Like on the College Avenue, the Mako building that we just put up.
Setback rule, not built to lot line.
Okay.
So think College Avenue and Nova Drive, that corner. Same zoning district, and then don't forget that we are an institution. We also have different rules as campus. Yeah? That building, if that would be straight up on the street, would have to have different design.
Okay.
But again, as university campuses are always different animals. You can do on campuses something. Planning timelines are different. Parking restrictions are different. All that. Yeah. But floating zone innovation. It's where you think something will happen. Yeah? Could be an event. I think this is the easiest way to do that. Emergency management as an example. Yeah? For certain events, you create a specific zone when this event is enacted or in place that certain rule works. We did this in Dover, Delaware for NASCAR, around the Speedway. When NASCAR is in town, overlay zoning has different rules. More likely for actually policing and law enforcement than for the building itself. Hospitals and churches, could be. In theory, I can start my church in the backyard or my garage and can grow. At some point, you've got to institutionalize this, and then all the machinery of legal rules will start. Same thing with your own little LLC. LLC is written on your computer in your kitchen. If you start growing and growing, you might actually have to consider a real business address rather than your backyard. But this is not really important. It's just out there for some completion that you can see, hey, I can create permanent overlay. I can do a mix, or I can do really cool stuff with performance standards. That I actually go in, this is coming more and more here, and basically say, I don't want to restrict you completely. I don't want to limit you. I want to encourage you, and you need to be of a specific performance. You need to have specific outputs available. As in, how many jobs will you create on that site versus I don't care how many square foot office building you put up there. Huh? So the example here is fragmented habitat and foliage, as in, why don't I give you more density on your property for multiple apartment buildings if you are giving me more drainage space on water and open space for actually air for the customers. Huh? Versus, I want you to build sidewalks and pedestrian-friendly environment. Yeah? That creates health impacts. That creates a different sense of community if you have to walk a little bit here and there. You actually meet people. To be honest, where do you meet people right now? Currently in the classroom and to the internet. Huh? In the internet. Well, I run into people at the post box. That's it. Yeah? Because that's the sense of community of the place I have right now. 25 homeowners have this little shared mailbox. Depending on the daytime, you run into one or the other. Sometimes you just wait a moment and then go out and get, because you don't like that one. The important is. Yeah? Noise as an example here again, stormwater management as an example again, performance standards as in, I don't care how this building will look like, but I want you to retain 50% more water on your property than actually required by law. Make it happen. Huh? Like, me, city, you developer, amaze me and surprise me. It's done right, actually turns into really cool projects. Huh? Urban design regulations. Gotta talk about urban design somewhere, somehow. Yeah? Don't make buildings ugly. Increase urban density, reduce sprawl. And do you have this next one? Yeah. This is an interesting setup here when we actually have larger planned developments, where you actually try to mimic traditional neighborhoods, put that kind of flair in, that walkability, that coffee shop, that bakery, anything that is accessible, like you would walk into the little French town or something like this. Yeah? Like you really try to mimic this. Walt Disney is doing a lifestyle experience when they do the festivals and little setups. Yeah? Traditional neighborhood design, T&D, better design, better function. The idea also is, when it says facing the street, what elements of your house and residence need to face the street directly?
The driveway.
Typically the driveway. But then the question is the garage right on front on the sidewalk? Or is it pulled back a little bit so you actually have space to park a car in front of the garage? Or is the garage actually in the backyard and you actually access the house through an alley? So you have a smaller street in the front, lovely neighborhood, big old trees, and you have your front door, walk into the door, park your bicycle in front. If you take out your car, you leave through the back door or walk around the house and go into an alley and leave there. Your garbage is picked up in the alley as well. And some of the traditional urban neighborhood designs, even your mailbox is in the backyard alley. And the postal service is running flip, 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 and giving you the mail there. They don't even are on the main street, because the idea of the main street then, front street, is it's livable space for regional commute and local activity. Yeah? You're more likely to be tripped over by a skateboarding kid than actually by a regular commuting car. Interesting concept. Smart Growth picked up on that. Andres Duani picked up on this with the design components, with urban growth models, etc. We come back and talk about single family homes again. Yeah? Same thing here. That's a typo. Sorry, it's supposed to be TOD, transit-oriented design. Yeah. Bright line station. That's one of the hot spots right now. Yeah. Why? Why would be a bright line station, or now Spirit, or whatever it's called? Why would be the former bright line station a hotspot for real estate development? It's on the screen. Mobility. If you imagine you could live in Fort Lauderdale, have the fun of Las Olas, you hop on the train, commute down for 20 minutes in Miami, you hop on a metro commuter, or you actually work down there in a walking distance area. Bright line Miami, or Miami, what is it, Miami Central, what's it called now?
The tri-rail? Yeah, the
Yeah,
tri-rail.
connects to Tri-Rail, connects to the Miami airport soon, metro hopper. It's right downtown Miami, next to the, 2 blocks away from the American Airlines, from the Frost Museum, all that. They're putting $5 billion in development in there. Office towers, residential, massive. No need for parking if you commute in with a train. You just have to pay the train. No, it was $50 or $60 a monthly ticket. You might want to look that up, because it's, when I'm in Miami for work, it's $40 per hour. So if you live close by to one of those little hubs or nodes, huge. Same thing with doing local breweries. Rental prices are going up around local breweries. Again, mixed land uses, non-auto transportation. In 2003, we did a field trip to the city-state of Singapore. When they do new town development, they start with where and how can we connect that new town. Subway, probably, and some streets. Build a neighborhood center around it for retail and shopping. Yeah? And then put high rises for 200 or 300,000 people around it. Boom. But they start planning with how people will move. Not like, oh, let's put 200 homes in here and figure out how we connect everything. Different idea of planning connectivity. So TOD, transit-oriented design, of course you have to have transit in place. You just can't build a TOD and you have no subway or no bus line or no train. Ultimately, you have multiple nodes. Singapore as well. You have office buildings with their subway station in the basement. Pentagon City in DC is an example in the US that comes to mind. You literally, or you walk from the other station from the mall. Alright, let's talk about PUDs. Give me 1 second. Oh, yeah. PUD, planned unit development. It's not the ultimate panacea, the ultimate weapon to change things, but it's, you remember, keep that in mind, it's large areas. Not just an acre, it's large areas. One reason why I would go for PUD is I make the really nice argument that I will take all the crazy zoning powers away from the government, and I will create my own little zoning district, my self-governance, and I will be in full compliance with the governance of that original city. As in, let me manage your land the way I want. And Paul is like, yeah, sure, let him do this. And I'm going to say, thank you, now I'll change my plan. That's the trick. So, also, here's the collective livability. Also, I can do in a planned unit development, because I'm my own little zoning district, things differently than in that regular city setup. If I want to do things differently in the regular city setup, what would I need? A? The other thing. Starts with a V. A variance. Yeah? Do I want to do a variance for, let's say, 700 homes I develop? 700 small little properties? No, because there will be 700 little applications. No? So, an easy way to deal with that is, depending on your size of the property and development, you approach the local government and say, can we do things a little bit differently, and streamline the process, and get better standards out of there? Remember, there was this idea about performance standards. So I can tweak the system, shift few things around, and probably create actually more benefits for my community. Let's visualize that. Comp plan here again. Adequate. Let's go back to phase development. This would be an example for, I do it all by the book. I use a cookie cutter, literally. Biggest bang for the buck. See how much I get out of there. There might be actually an ordinance saying, hey, this lot size needs to be X, Y long, or maximum size, minimum size as well. Yeah? You can write this in your comprehensive plan. And you can write this into your local ordinances. Make it law. And you get sued for it if you do it wrong. There are famous cases where, let's say, Mount Laurel, famous case of Mount Laurel and housing discrimination, they literally wrote sizes of apartments and land development in place in a specific time frame where land prices only were affordable for certain income groups. Huh? If I write a zoning code that says the minimum size of my residential single-family home needs to be 5,000 square foot, I might get in trouble. If the rest of the community is 1,000 or 1,400 square foot, and you say, no, the next development that has to come in place is 5,000 square foot minimum. Sorry, you just paid off your student loans. You're not going to be able to build a home or buy a home with 5,000 square foot living space. It's out of a common sense understanding. Yeah? So, you also could say here now, wait a minute. I am going to change this whole area concept in terms of a planned unit development. Yeah? Change the size and alignment of my lot sizes. Remember performance standards? I give you more space, more natural space. Even here, take on that side from the old farm, even get here the horse pasture, the horse area here. Maintain the existing woods as buffer. Which one would you like to move in without knowing the structure of the buildings? The one to the right looks pretty cool to me. Take the dog for a walk and actually go here through a recreation area versus walk your dog this way and then come back. And imagine this would be flat grass, curbside grass. Boring. Here, completely great. Didn't do the count, but apparently it's the same amount of dwelling units on this site. Small little change in design has a huge impact. Granted, if you live here, you might need to check if you like horses. Same thing in Delhi. We have a rodeo ground in downtown. Haven't been there yet for an event, but it's a rodeo. Want to do a break? I'll literally have it on the screen. Want to do a break?
Yes.
5 minutes. Let's go.
Do 5. They're going to switch actually here, urban renewal. They're going to switch power point. Doing something different, not just lost.